using a graphic organizer. You may also evaluate the quality of your students' learning by letting them practice their learning in real life through GRASP's formatted performance tasks. The content of Smart Class is designed for the entire academic year, and it is available for 5 major subjects, all aligned with DepEd's K-12 curriculum and covers the most essential learning competencies prescribed by DepEd. Secure your own copy of Smart Class before classes open. Contact marketing at vibalgroup.com to know more.
Good day, Kavibal, and welcome to our Learn at Home Facebook Live session. For the discussion today, the topic will be on social and emotional learning of students at home. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. Make sure you are registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.vibalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Place your questions on the comment box allotted during the session and they will be addressed by our speaker later on. Share the video using hashtag LearnAsOnePH as our official hashtag to our Vibal webinars. Experience learning, Kavibal? And now, to proceed with our webinar this evening, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker today. He is a consultant and evaluator for K-12 Philippine Basic Education, the curriculum and academic consultant of Sisters of Mary. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Brother Roderick Aguirre.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and viewers, of course. Good evening to all of you, and we're here again. Continuation of my afternoon session, which was on self-discipline. Right now, I'll be continuing on my topic on social emotional development for our students while they're at home. But most of the practical ways I'm going to share to you this evening is more of how teachers can help parents develop social emotional skills or social emotional skills among their children while the students are still at home and being being independent in their learning. So before I proceed, I would like to give a shout out to while I share my slide, I would like to give a shout out to the following people, to Rosalie Chavez Faune from Quezon City, my former student at anak-anakan ko po. And then Mary Ann Ramos Buktil from San Pablo City, Laguna. Grace Sheila Rama Mandriaga, my former student too, from Bulacan. Precious Bergado Marges Quinto from Imus, Cavite. And then of course from my friend, kabarkada ko po, Ram Valero from Imus also for the plants at my back. Thank you very much for that. Hopefully, more plants to come so that I will have more plants at the back. So there's our ways for me to, thanks for these people for helping me improve my background. But nonetheless, I think what's important would be the input that I'm giving to you. I'm not looking at the other side. I'm supposed to be looking at the camera. All right. So my continuation of my topic for this evening is all about social and emotional learnings of students at home. And we're going to use the acronym SEL, which stands for social and emotional learnings of students at home. This is our way of providing children support in their social emotional development at home. And basically this would be for our parents, but since most of our viewers are teachers, this will be also one of the things that you would like to orient the parents of your students so that they would know what to do for the kids, because all of a sudden all of the students will be at home, and our parents will be faced with a lot of challenges in looking at how their kids will be helped, not in terms of just academically, but also on all other aspects of their development. Unlike before, when our students are going to school, the parents have at least a time for themselves. They can focus on their work, knowing that their kids are safe at school. But right now, it's going to take its toll not only on parents, but all the members, all the adults that are all at home, and seeing the different behaviors, the different changing behaviors of these kids, these students at home. So this afternoon's or this evening's topic is all about social and emotional learning of students at home. So I will not start with an introduction on identifying and busting myths because I already did that this afternoon 2 o'clock via YouTube. So those are still just tuning in tonight. You may want to go back. You can continue on listening to me, but it would be after my session tonight. You may want to uh, visit the recording of my afternoon session, my this afternoon session on developing self discipline, okay, and its connection to learning. So we'll just proceed to discussion, and the discussion will have will have answers, question answer format, and I will be answering the following questions. What is social emotional development, or also known as social and emotional development? And then we'll proceed to the second question. Why is social emotional development important to learning? And what are ways teachers and parents could do to help children develop and enhance their social emotional skills while at home? And then open forum will have answer questions and clarify some vague concepts that you think I was not able to explain well, and then I gladly answer those though. And conclusion implications, let's try to tie loose ends, and I'll be posting some challenges for you guys out there. All right, so let's begin immediately because I only have an hour to go. So let's now proceed to understanding concepts about discipline and learning at home. And now we're focusing on social emotional development. So let's start with the first question. What is social and emotional development? Now, one of the things that teachers are are given task on would be understanding their learners while at school, observing them of certain changes in how they interact with their classmates, because how they interact. So we're done with discipline, okay? So we're looking at now the our students possibility of some hindrances to their academic performance and to their learning would be some of their social and emotional skills that are not appropriate, or they probably lack some of the social and emotional skills for them to be able to survive collaborative and social engagements at school. Now at home, the kind of engagement that they will be into would be virtual way of engagement, but there will be a lot of engagements to oneself. So it still is a social emotional development. Right now, our kids will have more time to looking into themselves, how they are pacing themselves. But it is important that we guide them in the process. We cannot leave our kids, our students at home on their own. We need to help them because it is still a new normal to them. And if teachers and parents are still struggling and adjusting to the new demands of distance education, um, also students are adjusting to the new normal and to the new demands and conditions of learning. So social and emotional development means how individuals start to understand who they are, what they are feeling, and what to expect when interacting with others. So what happens with learning at home right now is that, especially for individuals who have not somehow socialized and interacted with their classmates during last year or the previous school years, where there was ample sufficient time for them to do interaction. There are a lot of kids who are really shy, not because they were born shy, okay? It's probably because the parents or the primary caregivers did not provide sufficient socialization engagements at home that allow the kids to be able to know what they want, who they are, what they are feeling, and then how they're supposed to behave with when there are other people around, okay? Knowing also that kids need to understand that when they enter a house of another person or someone else's house, they're not supposed to behave like it's their house. So these are some of the behaviors that we need our kids to be able to adjust to. So if we do not allow our kids to, visit friends, visit their friends at home in their homes, or visit their cousins, or bring your kids to work, bring your kids to different places in the community so that they would know that people behave differently in different situations and different social gatherings. Thereby, it is very important for the kids to realize that adaptation and adjustment is very important. Okay. And on that note, it is the development of social emotional development. It's a development of being able to, one, form and sustain positive relationships. It is very important for our kids, for our students to be able to form core groups, friends, and these are the friends that they can share the experiences with, and they can grow up with. And then these are the people that right now. Remember, like in our age right now, as adults, it's fun to meet our friends before and talk about what we did, and looking back at what we did, we feel now so foolish of doing those things. But the point there is that via these people, via allowing our kids to choose people to be their friends, would provide them other support other than the parents, of course, and the teachers. These will be their support for them to develop socially. All right. There are things that these friends know about our kids that they don't, but it doesn't have to stay that way. I'll give you some strategies how we can uh, beef up the communication between parents and children, and teachers and children. All right. Next would be experience, manage, and express emotions. We need to help our kids understand that even with friends, even with other people, there are a lot of frustrations that they will encounter, a lot of situations where would make them angry, frustrated, irritated. And it's good to talk about this, and we have to talk to them that it's normal to feel that way, but there's a positive and a more healthy way to express those emotions. All right. um, Hindi po dapat ng ginagawa ng mga magulang na pag itong mali yung hindi pinoproseso ng mga magulang at ng mga teachers pag may nag-away ng mga bata, nag-away ang mga estudyante. Hindi dapat ang mga adults pumapanig. Ang ginagawa po natin ay tinutulungan po natin ang mga nag-away na prosesuhin bakit nagkaroon ng away. Ang nangyayari kasi sa Pilipinas is that ang mga magulang at ang mga teachers ay pumapanik agad sa isang estudyante. Kasi siguro ito kasi mabait to. There are situations na even good students commit mistakes. Hindi parang dapat malaman ng mga estudyante na kahit ang hindi mabuting estudyante pwede rin gumawa ng tama. And mabuting bata ay pwede rin gumawa ng masama. Depende sa sitwasyon. Hindi naman perfecto yung mga yan. And there would be situations where everything is new to them and they do not know how to respond. That's why it's social emotional development. There are many social instances that would always be first, and our students wouldn't know how to handle the situations. And whether we like it or not, we need to help them analyze where they went wrong or where their strengths and weaknesses were in addressing and acting and reacting to such situations. So experience, manage, and express emotions would be one of those things that we want our kids to develop in social emotional as one of those social emotional skills. Next would be explore and engage with the environment. Like they know that there are a lot of institutions in society. They know that a lot of places places in the community that would make them feel better of who they are, and appropriate places to do things. Okay, we need to, as parents and as teachers, we need to provide our children with what we call as a community tour for them to know what places in our community have the specific responsibilities in case we need those. We need these people, and who are these people there. what's happening in the Philippines right now is that most of our kids do not know who their barangay chairman is, their tanod, and so on and so forth. And that is part of the social emotional development, is introducing our kids, our students, to the people in our community. I grew up with that. Lumaki ako I was involved, highly involved in the members in the church, our members of our community, not because that we were prominent as where my family is prominent. It was just my mom and my dad was involved in all of the activities in the community, and we grew up like that. And I think via that, we're raising our kids, we're raising our mga pamangkin at saka mga pamangkin on that perspective. And research shows that if we do that, we help our students explore, engage with their environment. And with that environment, they get to encounter a lot of people. And once they encounter a lot of people, they get to realize that they need to adjust to these people, and they will meet a lot of people with different emotions. And by that, we're helping them to adjust to these people. And then a lot of things will happen, like they'll get frustrated with some people that they meet, and then most of them would talk to their friends, right? But it would be best that we find ways to allow our kids, our students, our children to be able to confide in us. All right. Dapat alam natin na pag nagkwento sa atin ang mga bata sa atin is nakikinig tayo. Listening is one of those things that we can appropriately use as a tool to develop social emotional skills, opening up and open-mindedness from our children. And those will be one of the things that we're going to talk in a while. So SEL, or social emotional development learnings, sorry, I was in a hurry, builds the foundation for thriving in life inside and outside the classroom. So now, one of the greatest challenges right now for teachers is that the socialization skills and the socialization activities, like collaborative efforts that we are engaged our students in at school, especially in clubs, are things that help our students develop those social emotional skills. And it's one of the many challenges. How can we deliver? Right now, I think most of the schools are thinking of how to deliver the academic learning to our students who are learning at home. But there is another thing that we need to take care of as well. The interest clubs, the other student organizations at school that our students have been engaged in the past years, are good avenues for social emotional learnings for our students. Allow them to interact with other students beyond their section, beyond their grade level, thereby helping them emotionally to become more mature beyond their age. So we need to come up creatively how we can integrate all of this, the continuance of this student organizations, school organizations, student clubs, to our students while learning at home. So I'm suggesting to the teachers out there that we make these organizations, interest clubs, to our students available for our students. Otherwise, our students will be just focusing on academics, and they'll get, fed up, and they'll get too tired of just focusing on academics, when we need to strike a balance between, intellectual, academic, and social emotional development. Striking a balance is very important. And I know that it's difficult, but we can probably think of creative ways to do that. I'll probably suggest some topics to Vibal, Edu Services, of how we can, provide our students with school support, okay? The school support systems at home. Like, how do we continue with journalism club with our students, the papers, school paper, the student government, and so on and so forth. And how can we help our student government continue with their projects for this year creatively, and so on and so forth. All right. And so students with strong social emotional skills have been found to get along better with others. All right. Kahit sino na kasalamuhan nila, kaya nilang they can socialize with. I think I would like to thank my mom and my dad for that. And one of the things that, make me be able to adjust to other people is that I know that I need to adjust. Even if people don't like me, I need to respect them on who they are, because that's what people are. Not just because what people would do. Minsan ang tinuturo ng mga magulang ay kung ayaw nila sa'yo, di wag mo rin sila pansinin. That's wrong. If you need to interact with these people, and then if they do not like you, then do try to adjust to them. Hindi pwedeng ang tinuturo natin sa mga bata na ang lahat ng tao at ang sitwasyon palagi mag-a-adjust sa atin. They will not succeed in life. Successful people have been found to have high social emotional skills, and one of those benefits that having strong social emotional skills would be getting along better with others. And getting along better with others is helping our kids be able to find the right people to be their core group. Okay? Also, students with strong social emotional skills have an increased ability to manage stress. They're able to cope with a lot of responsibilities. In fact, a lot of students who have this good social emotional skills in their personality, in their psyche, are able to take on a lot of responsibilities, and they see these responsibilities as an opportunity to be with other people and be able to interact and learn from other people. Alright? Pero yung mga bata na palaging sinasabing, palagi ang tingin natin na hindi mo yata kaya, ang dami na munang ginagawa. May mga magulang na, kawawa naman yung anak ko, dami na ginagawa. Wait, baka ikaw lang na magulang ang nag-iisip na ang daming ginagawa ng mga bata, tapos pagod na pagod sila. In the process ng papagod ng mga bata, to begin with, doing things at first would be difficult. So, ang trabaho sana ng mga magulang ay suportahan muna ang mga anak. Hindi yung susulsulan agad na, oo nga anak, ang hirap na yan. Sige, magrereklamo tayo sa school, pinapahirapan kayo. Wait, all of these responsibilities, all of these tasks given to your students are not to make our students suffer. These are ways, these are activities that teachers have thought, long hours overnight and conversations with experts, with their consultants in the school, to be provided to your students so that they will not just be academically and intellectually good, but also with strong social emotional skills. Because we have produced a lot of intelligent graduates before who are too shy, not too confident. Matalino nga, hindi naman nakapag-adjust ibang tao. Matalino nga, pero hindi naman nakapagtapos dahil mahiyain, hindi marunong, hindi streetwise, hindi maparaan. Social emotional skills are those other skills beyond academic, beyond being intellectual, beyond IQ. Ito yung pamamaraan para makapag-survive sa mga sitwasyon na maaring hindi niya alam hindi niya alam kung paano solusyonan mga problema. So these are things that we need to help our students be able to overcome with. And we cannot do that kung masyado natin binibaby ang mga bata. Okay? Next would be, are more likely to graduate from high school. So students who are, hindi ito yung sinasabi ng matatalino. Marami pong estudyante na tama lang naman ang IQ level. Hindi naman ganun katalinuhan, but because they have strong social emotional skills and they have a strong group with the same social emotional skills, that they support each other, they are more likely to graduate from high school. In fact, there were a lot of research saying na yung mga matatalino minsan takot mag-risk because masyadong sigurista. At ayaw nilang sumasama sa ibang tao dahil nga they end up doing everything. When in reality, sa totoong buhay naman, ang lahat ng trabaho ay palaging may kasamang ibang tao. It's always collaborative. Even the accountants would have other accountants to audit their accounts. In like manner, for teachers, there are other teachers who would support them. In the school, it's always a collaborative effort. There will be no one responsible in this world na hindi kailangan ng ibang tao. Kung makakaisip po kayo ng isa, sige po, sir, ang pagluluto, wait, bakit? Yung mga ingredients, saan mo kinuha yan? Sinong kumuha? Ikaw din nagtanim nun? Sir, ano po? Yung pagtuturo, sige, nagla-lesson planning ka. Saan mo kinuha yung mga information na yun? Ikaw nag-isip noon, ikaw nag-research noon. Saan mo kinuha yung mga activities na yun? Ikaw nag-isip din. Yung mga materials, yung raw materials. There is nothing in this world that is done by just one person. It is always a collaborative effort of many people that we do not see, but they have a hand on all of those things. And we need to help our students understand that we need to be together with others and we need to collaborate with other people. Well, depending on the task given to us. All right. And one of the another thing that would show that students with strong social emotional skills, they have key social skills that employers are looking for: confident, uh, trustworthy, people person. There you go. Sabi ko hindi ka siya mahihain ka sa akin. Kids are not born mahihain. They were just raised not to be sociable. Kanino kasalanan yon? Huwag naman agad natin i-blame ng mga teachers. Huwag naman natin i-blame agad ang mga classmates. Probably we need to look at the 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 core unit of society, which is the family. Everything emanates from family. All right. Another one would be they are less likely to be involved in the criminal system. They are involved. They know what's wrong and what's right. They know who they want to be and they know who they don't want to be because they have been faced with these people and they have been interacting with these people. And those kids and they are no longer naive. Kids who have been secluded at home, just home and school, and not allowed to socialize with other kids, are not able to know who's bad and who's good, who's right and who's wrong. Okay, and then when they're faced with this kind of people, they're so naive, and sometimes they get used. All right, and whose fault is that? It's not the fault of our kids. It's because they were not given ample opportunity to acquire and develop their social emotional skills at home and at school. So let's now answer question number 2. Social emotional skills. Meaning these are skills, set skills that enable our students to be able to understand who they are, what they feel, and how they act to other people and situations. All right. So why is social emotional development important to learning? Okay, so let's look at this. I'm using the big 5 domains of the social emotional learning. And also, this is also the big 5 of understanding personality. So most of you there already know the big 5. So I'm not going to discuss this thoroughly so that I can focus more on the suggestions that I can provide you with and the things I've been doing for my pamangkin that are really, really effective on them. Sometimes nasusobrahan nga naman sa pagiging highly sociable. All right. So the framework that I use when I come up with activities for students, for my students, for students of Sisters of Mary, when we do activities, and some of the activities that I do when I was still a teacher, these are the things that I look into how I can help my students become better. I mean, I struggle with that because we need to know the profile of our students, but nonetheless, this is one of the frameworks that I have been using. So the big 5 starts with task performance. We need to provide our students with a lot of tasks that they need to take on. And I believe that we need to come up with a balance, strike a balance between individual task performances and group performances. And if we only provide our students with a lot of group performance and no individual performances, we will not be able to see how well they know themselves. Remember, social emotional skills emanate from the idea that they know who they are. They delve into the practice of analyzing what they did, what they did good, what they did wrong, what are their strengths and weaknesses. So via the performances that we provide them, we allow our students to be able to look into themselves, what went wrong. But then again, a lot of our students have not been trained to engage in metacognition and reflection. So it is very important for us that at the end of the task, whether it's individual or collaborative, there is what we call as evaluative activity, where we allow our students to answer open-ended questions like, what are the I was not able to finish the task on time because, or I was able to finish the task on time because. So we look at the strength. We allow our students to be able to look at the strengths and weaknesses. A lot of teachers can do this via checklists. Okay? So kung magpapadala po kayo ng mga activities sa bahay ng mga estudyante, dapat meron kayong checklist na kasama doon to allow our students and the parents to analyze what went wrong or what was the strength of our students. Halimbawa, nakalagay na activity dito, identify the the problem in the story. I was able to identify the problem in the story easily because I wasn't able to identify the problem this time because. So via these results or this information, it will provide the parents and us teachers feedback as to what where our students are, uh, failing at. And that's where we come in to be able to provide them with. Hindi tayo naghihintay na dumating yung grade po, doon natin nakita na, hindi sila naka-adjust. Okay? So these are the things that we need to help our kids develop when we provide them with task performance. These are the values, okay, that we need to hone among them so that, they become social, so that they acquire the social emotional skills, achievement motivation. We need to provide our kids with an opportunity to feel successful, that they did something right. Now, if they did something wrong, still they're given a chance to improve it. That's why there's a reflection on it. Okay, so activities at school and activities that we provide our students via online or via virtual without any activity that would allow our students to analyze their performance and their group mates performance is not helping our students develop social emotional skills. And if most of it would be just tests and quizzes and grade recitation afterwards, we're only helping our students develop their intellectual and academic performance, or academic and intellectual development. What about social emotional development? Letting them analyze motivation. Why was I successful? Why was I not successful? If I was not successful, what should have I done better? And what aspect should I, improve on? Next would be responsibility. By allowing our students to partake in a collaborative effort, and there's what we call as delegation of responsibilities and tasks. Our students now are given certain tasks to be able to fulfill those tasks in the context of a whole. That if they and learn to understand that if they do not do their part, the whole group will suffer. That I have a contribution to the performance of the whole group, and if I do not do my part, then there's a possibility of failure for the whole group, not just for myself, but for the whole group. So we need by the collaborative activities that we provide for our students, it is also helping our students develop responsibilities. So again, strike a balance between individual activities and collaborative activities. Next would be self-control. Now, the self-control would be giving our students when, what time, what the number of the effort that they're going to provide to their classmates, to the collaborative efforts. It can be done by schedule, all right? Pag hindi daw natin binigay sa mga estudyante at sa mga bata in advance sa mga schedules ng test, ng performance, and so on and so forth, we're not giving them control over how they're going to prepare for that activity. Hindi pwede pong blind technique na bahala kayo, magkakaroon tayong quiz, di ko sasabihin kung kailan. Bahala kayo, magkakaroon tayo ng grade recitation, di ko sasabihin. No, that's not right. It will not develop self-discipline among students. Self-discipline is knowing what they're aiming for, and knowing that schedule, as I've explained this afternoon, is via knowing what to expect and what is their short-term goal or long-term goal. And once they have identified this short-term goal, like being able to pass those quizzes and pass the grade recitation and quarter assessment, they have self-control over the things they're going to do on day one up to that day where they were supposed to take the test. Okay, and also if parents know about that schedule, parents can support developing the self-control among kids. Sasabihin nila, anak, alam nyo may kang test bukas sa bawas-bawas muna ng panonood ng television ha. Pagkatapos ng test, doon ka manood. Yung pong ginawa kasi sa akin ng mother ko noon she did not deprive me of things that I want to do. I was so engrossed with drawing. I was engrossed with singing. I was engrossed with what else I was engrossed in? Imaginary plays. Mahilig ko maglaro ng sarili ko. Siguro nakita sa mga pamangkin ko. Anyway, the point was, my mom did not deprive me of that, but she kept on reminding me that I need to study, okay? And then she would even stay at night. Even I know that she was too tired from work, she would sit down with me and then help me with my review. And then once at the end of the test, she will allow me to do whatever I want to do. And that's what I'm doing right now with the kids. It's It's refreshing, and it's kind of good to see that it works, that it does work, providing them with self-control. Next would be persistence. Kids knowing what they want to do, because tasks the tasks provide them with success. Balik pa tayo sa achievement motivation. So by allowing our kids to analyze what they can do and what cannot do, or what went wrong or what went well, is that you're developing among our students persistence, that the next time around I will do a better job because I know now where I need to improve on. Okay? So dapat sana po ngayon po sa activity po natin sa distance education, we allow evaluative activities. What I did good, where I did well, and so not just quantitative quantitative evaluation. Okay, another area of the big five is emotional regulation. So via the test performance, very important. You cannot teach emotional regulation if you don't have test performance for your students. It emanates, the big five of social emotional learning would emanate from the tasks we create. The tasks we create provide all of those 4 core social emotional skills. And then once we have the task, we can now help our students regulate their emotions. And what are the things they will develop when we regulate their emotions? By the the evaluative activities that we provide with them. They get to do stress resistance. Okay? Na-analyze nila sarili nila. The next time, kasi nag-cram kasi ako eh. So they will know the next time around. They will avoid things that would, make them situation that would be stressful for them. All right? Sorry po, kagaya ng high school ako noon. Sorry, high school po lahat ako experience ko po. I cannot use experience kasi nandun po kayo. Kung nakikita-kita lang po sana tayo, I would have probably asked your experience. But since this is, I cannot hear you, but I think you're thinking about it. Na-experience ko po ng high school ako, like, sa stress resistance. There's a lot of peer pressure, especially nung sa amin sa San Joaquin Palo later. Pagdating mo ng 4th year, parang dapat na-introduce ka na sa tuba. Okay? So tuba, dapat marunong ako ng bahalina and so on and so forth. And then, there were situations that may sayawan. And I know there was a test 2 days from now, and ang ginagawa ko na lang is, I do not say, Mami, pupunta po ako doon kasi kasama ko po itong mga kaibigan ko and so on and so forth. And my mom would not say no. Sasabihin lang niya, oh yes, but remember, I will allow you but 30 minutes ka lang ha. Pagkatapos ng 30 minutes, balik ka kasi mag-aaral ka pa. The point was that I know that I need to do something, but it doesn't mean it will stop me from doing things that make me happy. But I know that I need to control the time that I spent doing those things so that I can, allot those time to other things that that would help me focus on my goals. And that's what we're supposed to be helping our kids on. We do not deprive them of these things. We allow them to still go on with this, but they need to learn to control and control the time that they spend doing those things so that they can, allot that time doing these things that they love most to things that is worthwhile. All right, and by that we teach our students optimism, because if our kids experience a lot of successes in their academic and their school life, it would definitely help them become optimistic about setting goals. Kasi kung hindi natin sinuportahan, diniprive natin na ganito nangyayari kasi diniprive natin sila ng gusto nila, nag-succeed na sila, parang feeling na oo nga pero it took a lot of effort, took a lot of deprivation of myself. So I sacrificed a lot. So, ulitin ng mga bata, parang ayoko na mag-aral, ang dami ko kailangan sacrifice. You don't have to sacrifice. Kids don't need to sacrifice. I did not. When I was a kid, I did not. My mom did not allow me to sacrifice. I still did those things, but I was allowed to control. Kaya nga babalik po doon self-control sa task performance. Okay? Emotional control. Via the emotional regulation, knowing what ang ginawa kasi ng mother ko is she allowed me to commit mistakes and errors. And then afterwards say, bakit ka bumagsak? Kasi yun ganun. My mom would always see situations, my errors and mistakes as an opportunity for us to talk. I don't know how my mom did that with my other brothers and my brothers, but I just so happened that I don't know why I'm always at home. When my mom arrives, I'm at home. And then she has all the time in the world to talk to me. I don't know if she had the same time to talk to my brothers, but she had a lot of time for me. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I know how busy she was, but the point is she gave time to me, and it was not every day. She just observes, and then when she hears me and sees me downcasted, she would use those opportunity to talk to me, and sometimes she would use force to teach me a lesson, and yeah, I learned a lot. So emotional control, if there's no task, we not allow our students emotional regulation. So parents at home, bigyan nyo ng trabaho, bigyan nyo ng responsibility ang inyong mga anak over and above the academic. So kung sila po'y nag-aaral, baka siguro turuan mo sila na, kayo naman ang pakain sa aso, o kayo naman ang magluto sa ganito, o kayo na maghugas ng pinggan. Simple activity that would allow them to take on responsibilities, add on to their stress, but knowing how to control their time. And time management is one of the things that they need to learn. And that's what I'm gonna discuss on Friday on executive functions. Okay, so I'm inviting you right now to my last talk for the week for August on Friday on developing positive discipline among our students at home via the executive functions. Okay, let's proceed. So once we have facilitated emotional regulation among our students, like again, ang korpo ng emotional regulation is conversation. So allow, di ba may mga estudyante sa kanilang core project, may mga gumawa ng tama, mayroong hindi gumawa, allow them to talk. So magkaroon ka ng focus, okay? This time I would like to call you the members, and then I would like you to share how you did the activity, and it's time for you to be able to talk to your classmates, your group mates as to how they can improve, instead of allowing the kids to fight and then magkim-kim po. You're facilitating an activity where they allow themselves to talk. And then sabihin mo sa kanila na pwede niyong sabihin ang sama ng loob ninyo, pero huwag kailangang sumigaw. Kasi what's important is the message. Minsan kasi, kinikim-kim ng mga estudyante kanilang inis sa kanilang mga classmate, tapos sumasabog na sila, sumisigaw. Ang nangyari sa classmate, instead na magiging remorseful because naintindihan man niya ang message, kaya lang pinahiya na siya. So, naging defensive. So we need to teach our kids social emotional development or skills as part of that emotional regulation, that there's a time and place, appropriate time and place to talk about these things. There are places that are not appropriate to talk about a certain topic. Okay? So emotional control ang tawag natin. Right? Another one would be collaboration. So because of those tasks that we provide our students with, tasks that we provide our kids at home, then there is a time for collaboration. Halimbawa, kagaya ng sa bahay namin noon, nag-exchange kami, sabi ko sa kapatid ko ng Caramela, siya yung tanghali, ako yung gabi. Sabi ko, pwedeng ako nalang maghugas ng tanghali at saka ng gabi para bukas wala na ako, hindi na ako maghugas kasi meron akong gagawin, whole day ako sa school. So I'm able to be able to collaborate with my brothers on certain tasks that I was provided for me. And at the same time, dahil nga I was allowed to do that, pag ang kapatid ko man nagsabi na, ikaw na maghugas ng ganito kasi nga may practice kami sa basketball noon, kasi mga varsity sila, so forth. So I would do that. So I get to empathize because I was in that situation too. So by allowing our kids to have certain responsibilities and allow them to be able to converse to their brothers and sisters or kung sino man ang kasama sa bahay para magpalitan ng task, then it's helping them to empathize with other people and be able to help them to adjust to those people. All right? And thereby developing trust. Mas lalong nagiging malalim ang samahan nila bilang magkakapatid, bilang magkasama sa bahay, or bilang classmates. And kaya minsan, pag ganyan po ang development po, minsan ang mga magka-classmate, parang magkakapamilya, na pag-graduate ng high school, parang ayaw nilang umalis sa school na yon. Alright? So that's how we're supposed to teach our students, to treat the class as their family, alright? A family too. And it establishes cooperation because of I think I don't have to explain this further. I think you understand when I say cooperation. And by having, different tasks and collaborative effort, kids know that, as I've explained a while ago, that they get to realize that each member of the group contributes to the whole performance of the group. And if they don't do their responsibility, it would contribute to the failure of the group's performance. So that cooperation would be, instilled among our students. Next would be open-mindedness. And the open-mindedness via the task performance is that, curiosity. Kaya nga, dapat ang mga teachers po, magkakaroon po ng konting twist sa mga activities. Alright? Kagaya ng ako po, pag ginawa ko ng activity, alright, I don't want you to choose who will be your reporter or who will report. What I want you to do is for you to be able to partake in those responsibilities. I will call anyone from the group to present. So you'll have to help each other learn all the things that you're supposed to perform or to report. So if I call on this person or member, then, so, ang mga bata ngayon, parang every time bago. So, binabago ko yung mechanics every time nagkakaroon ng collaborative. So, it allows my students to be curious, ano kaya na naman pa ang ginagawa ni Sarah naman na ganito. So, novelty is the idea. The novelty, hindi kailangan bagong activity, but the mechanics would change. Okay? The way things will be done. The way things be done would be, twist a little, right? Next would be tolerance. It develops open-mindedness and it develops tolerance among our students. Tolerance to changes, and then it helps them to be flexible, all right? And a lot of students who have not been given an opportunity to do tests that have different, same tasks but with twist, mababa ang tolerance nila. Parang mababa ang flexibility, na bago lang yung schedule, na bago lang yung ganito, pinagpalit ko lang yung member na ganito, ayaw na nila. Hindi pwede. Kasi nga, we're doing this consciously to help our students that they need to collaborate. Kaya balitas collaboration. And then by that, with the collaboration, they need to be tolerant of the differences and their diversity of the skills within the group. And of course, because there are a lot of students that get to listen to each other, their own ideas are improved. Therefore, creativity is enhanced. Kasi nga, many heads are better than one. Okay? And then we move on to engaging others. Via the collaborative effort, via the performance task or the task that we provide to our students engage with others. Okay? Ginagawa ko nung nagtuturo ako ng oral communication, my students, ang ginagawa ko real audience. Nandun talaga sila sa ano pa ako nagturo na. I was in Manila din, sa Intramuros, I forgot the school. Yung nights, anyway, yun. Letran, okay, sa Letran. Sa mga students, ang ginagawa ko is for them na hindi lang sa classroom. No, you're going to have real audience and we're going to do that in the auditorium. And there will be other professors who will be watching. Okay, so mga ganyan na they're able to engage, and then tinataas lang natin ng konti ang demand ng task na yon, and then it allows our students to face their fears. And these are the skills that will be developed among them. Sociability, assertiveness, definitely, because they're given a task, and then an energy, the rigor. Okay, and once once all of these are at play in the task that we provided for them, eventually they will develop critical thinking skills, or what we call as the compound skills. Pag nagkaroon daw tayo ng performance task, na-develop natin emotional regulation, collaboration, open-mindedness, and engaging with others, kids develop gradually critical thinking skills, metacognition, and then self-efficacy. They are able to regulate themselves individually. They think of where they were good at, not so good at, and then that's why it's metacognition. They engage in, all right? So try this out. Parents and teachers out there, try this out, this big five, in any task you provide your kids with. Okay, sa bahay, be it a household chore, be it a test from the subject, from the curriculum, for as long as, again, there's a task that you provide your students with and your kids with, and then let them analyze, do collaboration, and activities that would allow them to evaluate each other. All right. So on that note, the importance of social emotional skills to learning is that social emotional skills refer to the ability to regulate one's thoughts, emotions, and behavior. These skills differ from cognitive abilities such as literacy or numeracy because they mainly concern how people manage their emotions, perceive themselves, and engage with others rather than indicating their raw ability to process information. That's why social emotional skills are called people skills. Social emotional skills are a set of skills also called soft skills that emphasizes the hard skills. The hard skills are the literacy and the numeracy. Hard skills are those that can be quantitatively measured. The social emotional skills are called soft skills because they cannot be quantitatively measured, but they can be observed among our students. Behavior cannot be the behavior, individual behavior of students of those social emotional skills differ from one child to another in terms of degree. So we cannot come up with a concrete way of, quantifying and norming all of those. Although there are a lot of researchers doing that right now, but until now, it's still a process of quantifying it, quantifying social emotional skills. I think Stanford University is doing a thorough research on this, but the research is still ongoing. Nonetheless, social and emotional skills are still called soft skills or people skills, how we deal with other people, or can also be considered as learning emotion or EQ or emotional intelligence. But emotional intelligence is only one of the skills of social emotional skills. Metacognition, regulating one's emotions, or also known as emotional intelligence, is only one skill of social emotional skills, right? So social emotional skills determine how well people adjust to their environment and how much they achieve in their lives. So if our students are provided with social and emotional skills development at home, then we are allowing them to be able to adjust to the situation right now. Okay, and by providing with certain support to them, talking to them, conversing to them, then we help them adjust to the situation. So what are the things that we can do? So one, social and emotional skills have been shown to influence many important life outcomes, but also influence the development of youth cognitive skills. So, nakakatulong talaga siya. So, ang mga bata daw na hindi ganong katalinuhan, genetically or hindi developed, but because we have developed them good soft skills, social emotional skills to analyze, they are able to help themselves become better. Kaya nga, mas magaling pa rin talaga ang mga bata na masisipag, may study skills, kaya sobrang talino, wala naman study skills. Right? Let's proceed to the last question. What are ways teachers and parents could do to help children develop and enhance their social emotional skills? Okay, I only have 7 minutes left. Okay, so let's just run through this. These are the things that I've been doing with my pamangkin. Okay, one thing, create avenues for learning. Okay, so there are things that I do, like we go to church. This is my experience. Sorry, I'm going to share my experience. So we go to church with ito yung mga pamangkin ko na I live with, si Ate Yuvi, si Ate Tefi, si Isham, si Lisha, at si JD, po yan kasi bahay. We go to church, and along the way, what we do is we talk about it. And then in the church, we talk about, say, look at the priest. What is he doing? Like we analyze. We things that we do are opportunities for us to talk about things. And then I get to have a glimpse of how they process information. You cannot know what's happening emotionally to your kids if you do not talk to them of, conversations that are nowhere. Okay? So, kailangan kinakausap talaga. All right? Another one is opportunities like buying toys. I ask questions like, what is your favorite color? Would you like a big toy, a small toy? They'll say, I like it the same width, but I don't like it to be color like that. So I provide them with opportunities for me to know who they are and how they are evolving as individuals. And by conversing with them and making them understand and talk about what they want and what they need, eventually they get to know who they are. Kaya di ba, ang social emotional skills is, first and foremost, is being able to understand who they are. Sino sila? Anong mga nararamdaman nila? Okay, so all of this, ako po, pag kinakausap ko sila, it's allowing them to be able to open up things to me. Kaya nga po, meron silang mga nasasabi siguro sa akin na hindi nila masabi sa ibang tao. Okay, mga frustrations nila. And sometimes, it's so tiring. Doon ko lang na-realize ang hirap pala maging magulang. Kaya, I had a better understanding of parents. Ang hirap pala maging magulang talaga. Ako nga, uncle lang ako eh. Ang hirap na ako sa makinig ka lang sa kwento ng mga bata na to, ubos na ang oras mo. Na alam mo may oras, dapat meron ka pang ginagawa na iba. Pero that's one of the many responsibilities of primary caregivers or of adults who are living with kids like them. We need support. Hindi pa rin isang tabi mo lang sila. Once they start talking to you, you now have a responsibility of developing their social emotional skills by listening. All right? So watch and observe your children with. So via these great avenues for them, observe them, how they want. How do they make new friends? How they interact with mahihain ba siya? Kung mahihain siya, then do something about it. Hindi ginagawa ng mga magulang hindi kasi mahihain lang talaga siya eh. No, you know that is one of your kids loophole, then do something about it. Mas lalo mo silang dalhin sa nga. May nakita ko na si Licia noon mahihain talaga noon. So ang ginawa ko noon, effort talaga ako noon na dadaling ko sila sa playground sa Lancaster at para makapaglaro sila doon ng takbo ng takbo ng takbo ng takbo. I had to do that so that they will get out of their shells. Hindi pwedeng sabihin na ganun talaga Pinanganak silang maya. Walang pinapanganak na bata na may ganung ugali na agad. Kids are not born with attitudes, okay? They are developed. So, naturally kids become shy because when they grow up, they get to know things, and then dahil tinatawanan natin, natututunan nila ang konsepto ng hiya. Pero alam po natin na hindi makakatulong bilang individual ang pagiging mahiyain. Especially kung papasok sila sa school at mahiyain sila, ang hirap papasukin ng bata na mahiyain. Iiyak yan ng iiyak. Alright? A lot of parents would say, hindi po kasi meron po silang separation anxiety. Kids do not have separation anxiety. You parents have. Kayo nagsasabi sa mga anak ninyo na hindi pa kaya kasi ng anak ko na mawala sa nanay niya o mahiwalay sa tatay niya. Baka ikaw, hindi mo lang hinanda dahil hindi ka handa na mahiwalay ang anak mo sa'yo. Hindi sila mahiwalay. It's part of growing up. Eventually, your kids, whether you like it or not, will have their own personal lives. The better and the soonest possible time they learn to cope with this situation individually as they are growing up, the better. Hindi yung kung kailan na sila graduate, dun lang sila, kailangan ko na pala magtrabaho mag-isa, papasok akong mag-isa. Sama mo naman ako, hindi ako marunong sumakay. Hindi marunong mag-budget. I know it's too late, but kahit pa ganun katanda, pwede pa rin turuan. Okay? But the younger, the better. Okay? Next, how do they respond when they're frustrated? Pag sila ba ay may hindi nagawa, umiiyak ba sila? So it's an opportunity for us to talk to them. Pag umiiyak ang bata, very sad, and so on and so forth. Minsan ginagamit na nga lang, susumbong kita kay uncle. Next, how do they share or take turns? Ang problema kasi ng mga batang to, kids would be agawan. Uncle, kinuha ni ate yung ganito. Uncle, okay, we have to, yung ibang ginagawa ng mga magulang ay para wala na, tumigil na lang ganito. Okay na yan, ibigay mo doon, ikaw kasi ito is, no. Ang ginagawa ko, no, baby, you have to share. She's not getting it from you. So ikaw naman, JD, you ask permission from your ate that you want to use that. So part of our responsibility is to help them ways to be able to adjust to the situation. Kung ang gagawin mo ay hablutin ito, ibigay dito kasi kinuha so and we do not converse with them and communicate, then you are not teaching them to think that, oo nga naman, mali pala ako doon. Dapat hiniram ko kay ate at sinabi ko yon. At dahil hiniram ko, pwede kayo maglarong dalawa, tapos mag-share kami, tapos kailangan ko ibalik kung saan ko kinuha. These are things that we need to keep on reminding our kids, and sometimes it's so tiring because it's every day of our lives, and parang wala na atang katapusan, but eventually there will be silver lining. Sabi nga ni Katrina, there will be a silver lining eventually. When they get older, they will realize and they will have this independence and be able to become self-regulating individuals. Okay? So, notice what your child does well and find something they need to refine on. So, applaud things that they are able to do well, but also pay more close attention to things that they cannot do. So, yun po ang tingnan po natin. Halimbawa po si Teffy, magaling mag-drawing. Tapos si Licia ay naiinggit kasi nga hindi siya ganun kagaling mag-drawing. So, what did I do? Binilhan ko sila lahat ng drawing pad. Tapos I gave them drawing sessions, how to draw sessions. So nabibigyan ko, okay, let's start with an egg. Let's start with an apple. Let's start with, kasi ito si Teffy nag-self-portrait na. So I would have a different session for her when I teach her how to do self-portrait and so on and so forth. So my point there is that adults at home, parents at home, ako kasi coming from the perspective of being an uncle, we need to support these things, this development among our kids. And then dapat walang inggitan. Kung anong nangyayari sa kabila, nangyayari sa kapate, dapat kung gusto din niya pala na ganun, hindi, supportahan po natin. Hindi ka marunong mag-drawing, hindi ka marunong sumayaw, hindi ka marunong kumanta. Kung anong kaya ng ate, pwede naman gawin. So tutulungan din. Ganun. Right? Next would be, books are another platform for conversations around social emotions. So, ang ginawa ko sa bahay talaga, nagpagawa talaga ako ng study area where the books are displayed, the kids, the adult, the references. So this is our study area where the kids would, look for the books, return the books, and so on and so forth. And then we have, activities to read in my room. And eventually, they choose the books that they love. But then again, they're not yet readers. But the point is, they love the pictures. So they enjoy looking at the pictures, and they get to understand the story by the pictures. And they would wait for me to, could you please, Uncle, tell me the story? Minsan, nakakapagod kasi pa ulit. But that's something that we need to engage in. Ganun talaga. Pag, I think that's a full-time job for parents. So I just get, a part of it. So yan. Okay? Yan, kung hindi books po pwede yung pinapanood. Pinapanood ng mga anak ninyo. Something like, na-engage sila sa Shira, sa Netflix, Isos, Diyos ko Lord. Di kailangan ko rin panoorin. Minsan nakakatulog ako, ginigising, Uncle, look, Shira is now going to change herself into a beautiful princess. Oh, yeah. And because I fell asleep, I wasn't able to follow the story. So what I do is I use this as an opportunity to talk. So what happened? Sorry, Uncle got so tired. Then they would say, oh, Uncle, you're so tired. It's okay, Uncle. We will tell the story afterwards. You can go back to sleep. How so nice, right? So hinahayaan nila, minsan hinahayaan nila ako matulog kasi alam nila na I had so much, I was so tired from work. So sometimes sila na nag-iintindi sa'yo. And it's nice to know na, wow, they are now mature because they are now understanding that you need some rest. But they don't have to go, di sila alis. Minsan nangyari nga, pagtapos na sila manood, tulog pa ako, dahan-dahan silang lumalabas at akala nila na tulog pa ako. Nakakatuwa. Anyway, so I think we're doing something good about kids. Anyway. Another one is anticipate preview experiences. So think aloud, talk aloud about what particular experience might be like to build your child's ability to recognize your own feelings. So what I do, like when I'm driving to somewhere else, like I bring my nieces to work, or we go to Robinsons or a mall. So while I'm driving, sometimes I voice out my thoughts. Bakit kaya parang mali yata, tumatawid yung mga tao sa maling tawiran. They're not supposed to do that. That's wrong. And then all of a sudden, the kids, yes, Uncle, they're not supposed to do that. Yeah, so you're not supposed to do that. And if a lot of people are crossing the street, and that's wrong, you don't have to follow them. So these are by giving them a model of how you think of other people, of how you observe, makes them think the way you think as well. Kaya lang siguro din natin na maayos ka rin mag-isip. I'm not saying na maayos akong mag-isip. It's just that probably I'm trying to, I'm very critical of other people too. But I try to rationalize it that a lot of people may have other situations. So, and the same thing that I allow them to do. There's a situation where it requires us to listen to the stories of our kids. Sabay-sabay yan magkikwento, promise. Minsan ilan yan, pagkasama pa yung pamangkin ko sa Batangas, ilan na sila? 2, tapos 4. At least si Ate UV ay nagbibigay na. Pero minsan nagsasabay-sabay sila. So ito, tong bunny ear na yan, kung sino may suit niyan, itong ginawa kong creative activity. Kung sino ang merong suot ng bunny ear na yan, siya yung may chance na magsalita. Kasi ang ginagawa ko ay I bring the kids for my brother and my hipag to have, time for themselves. So dinadala ko yung mga pamangkin ko na with me. I call it Uncle Day Out. So gumawa ka ng paraan na sometimes nakakapagod, parang pambata talaga ito. Pero kahit gano'n ka rin, you need to listen to them because you need to let them know that you are there to listen. So yung oh really? Oh my gosh. Kaya siguro ang mga expressions ng mga mata, oh my gosh, really? My gosh, is that good? Yum. It's something. Mga ganun po. And it develops, a better way how they can deal with their emotions, right? So listening to them. Another one is reflecting. Like when we watch television, sorry, pictures ko po ito kasi I'm sharing how I do it with my nieces and nephews. So there are situations na nandun po sila pag Saturday, nandun lahat ng mga pamangkin ko. So we watch television. So while we're watching television, of course, I have to adjust. So kaya hindi ako pwede manood ng sarili kong panoorin kasi nga pang matanda. Pang adult na lang, pangit pag matanda kasi matanda na tayo. Admitting na matanda na tayo. So for adults. So when kids were, pag nanonood sila, they would, reflect on, bakit kaya mali yun? Bakit kaya? So these are opportunities for us to talk about things. And when they start asking questions, let us not treat questions from our kids as nonsensical or something that, irritates us. but it's something that should be used as an opportunity for us to have a better connection with our kids and have a conversation and establish a more intimate relationship with and a more lasting relationship. Kaya nga itong mga pamangkin ko ay, but when I say, I keep on telling them, okay ha, nagalit si uncle dahil mali ang ginawa ninyo, but doesn't mean I don't love you. Uncle loves you so much, okay? You understand that. But remember, you're not supposed to do that again. You're not supposed to hit your ate or to hit at your sister. Your sisters are supposed to love each other. Yung mga ganon. You get to let them realize, ibang mga magulang ginagawa, palo agad, palo, galit, galit, go. Wait, let's sit down, reflect. Let's talk. Why? Let's focus on the action, not on the person. Ganon. Yun ang ginawa kasi sa akin ng mother ko eh. So I'm just, ganun po ako mag-treat ng bata. Well, because I also took early childhood education. Next is self-talk. Social emotional learning does not need to be complex to be effective, okay? The words you use will become your child's inner monologue when they're faced with similar situations. So the way they see me, that's why I bring them to my workplace. Kasama ko sila kung how I deal with other people, how I talk to people. So somehow my language becomes their language and the way I think and how I treat other people become the way they treat. So pag nakita ko yung mga bata na masama ugali, nakita nyo mga anak nyo, masama ugali at hindi tamang pag-treat sa ibang tao, reflect. You reflect. Does that reflect me as a parent? Does that reflect me as a teacher? Okay. Probably, if not possibly. All right. Finally, personalize your conversations. What I do is, and I join forces with like yung mga kapatid nila na mas matanda. Ang ginagawa ko kasi, what I do is that I make sure that I have alone time. Not necessarily every day or once a month. There would be in a year or a quarter that I would have alone time. Like itong ate, yung pinakapanganay na pamangkin ko, I would bring her to our pilgrimage for her to know. I would save a lot kasi na to eh, dalaga na to. So, kailangan ng t-shirt, and mas matanda, mas maraming pangangailangan. Kailangan pumunta ng ganito, may pilgrimage sa Korea, kailangan pag-ipunan. And these are the things that, give them goal na, sige, pag nag-aaral ka ng maayos, you have this. It provides them certain goals. Sa mga pamangkin ko naman na maliliit, that's why I always collect a fridge magnets. Kasi pag uwi ko, parang seremonya yan, ilalagay ko sa fridge. Kasama doon ang tanong nila, okay, what you would like to ask from Uncle? Uncle, what did you do there? How do you say that? Oh, it's Boracay. Okay, it's El Nido and so forth. Okay, there will be times you will go there. So they get to have an idea, and the conversation is personal in terms like they get to know that these are what successful people do, and I would like to be like that. Ang importante dun kasi is adults become the model of how we want our kids to be. And if they do not see a model of who they want to be, it would be really frustrating. It's difficult for them because they cannot create a dream for themselves. On that note, we will end our session, my discussion with Joint Forces. Connect with others and don't hesitate to access tools available to you like online, talk to other parents. Akong ginagawa ko noon, yung mga katrabaho ko doon kasama ko, pwede bang tulungan nyo kami sa sa mga birthday, talk to them kasi nagkakaingitan and so on. So it's a collaborative effort. There's no one correct way to raise a child. Sometimes it's an effort of many people to raise kids. It's really difficult raising kids and teaching kids to become better, especially at the social emotional learning development area. It's really difficult. It's a combination of all. So at home, so I'm suggesting to the educators out there, you need to orient the parents a lot, especially the things that I've discussed. Importante doon kasi baka magkainitan sila doon, ma-frustrate ang bata, then ma-frustrate ang mga magulang. I'm pretty sure ang gagawin yan, parents and kids will, because of lack of support to social emotional development at home. Ang gagawin ng mga magulang at ng mga estudyante, they will always blame the teachers. It's always easy to blame the teachers than to reflect that do I have a contribution to my kid's failure? Do I have a contribution to to this kind of development in my kids. Mahirap sa mga magulang kasi especially pag inisip nila na nagbabayad. All right, I will end my discussion on this, and I think I'm now ready to, mga pictures na yan. I'm ready to answer questions from you guys out there, and if there's concepts you would like to clarify from me.
Thank you very much, Brother Roderick. Now we will proceed to the question and answer portion. Our first question is from Marian Esteban.
Hmm.
Now that we are in distance learning, how can we be at help to the parents of our students in their social and emotional development?
Again, I didn't get that. That's kind of difficult, though. Could you please read the question again?
Now that we are in distance learning, how can we be at help to the parents of our students in their social and emotional development?
Okay. Um, One of the things that you need to give to provide the parents with would be parenting orientation skills. A lot of parents out there are still struggling to be parents, and right now they will be given a lot of responsibilities, not just to provide their kids with the basic needs like clothing, food, and shelter. Now they will be partners in the academic learning of their kids, and it will take a lot of responsibility on their part too. So it's very important that you come up with sets of responsibilities on the other end for parents and for teachers. Claro po ang responsibilidad, and you need to orient the parents on those responsibilities given to them. Yung pagbibigay ng oras, yung pagbibigay ng pag-monitor, pag-regulate na yung bata ba talaga sa ganitong oras na nag-go online and so on and so forth. So orientation is very important, and a clear communication with the parents as to what are their responsibilities as partners in the distance education would be great. There are still a lot of private schools that have been connecting with me and asking me if they're doing it right, like doing orientation and asking a lot of permission if they could quote me and get a copy of my explanation in some of those trainings that I give and then show it to the parents. And I said I'm okay with that, but you need to ask permission from Vibal if it's okay. But for me personally, it's okay. But again, Vibal has to say yes also. But the point here is that clear orientation and monitoring with the parents. Kasi dapat hindi lang minomonitor ngayon ay mga estudyante, minomonitor din natin ang progress ng mga magulang. Kasi nga, first time nila na kung hindi magulang, kung sino man ang maiiwan sa bahay. Kung sino ang maiiwan, siya dapat ang bigyan ng orientation. So there should be a continuous orientation and monitoring for parents and primary caregivers or adults at home who would supervise the learning of kids at home. Because teachers, you cannot do that in distance education. So you have to trust and involve the adults. So, klaruhin niyo lang po ang mga kontrata. Klaruhin niyo lang po ang mga responsibilities ng mga tao sa bahay nila. Thank you.
Thank you for that, brother. Our next question is from Miguel Santillan. How can we manage and express emotions in assisting our children in their distance learning given that working parents like me are already stressed at work?
Ako, ma'am, paras tayo ng stress. Ako pag ako ay pauwi pa lang, stress na ako. You know what I do is that I condition myself na pagpasok ko sa bahay, lahat ng stress ko wala. Yung pagtakbo nila sa akin, ngayon kasi hindi na agad tatakbo kasi I have to wash first before they hug me or kiss me. So, meron munang time na nandun sila naghihintay na makatapos ako maligo. Maghihintay sila. So, Uncle, are you done taking a bath? Yeah, but I'm going to brush my teeth still. Okay. Then Mami kakatak, Uncle, are you done? Yeah, I'm not done yet. I'm still gonna change my clothes. Okay. So, whether we like it or not, we have to pretend. Kahit gaano kapagod po natin, kahit magbigay lang tayo ng 5 to 10 minutes to allow them to talk and converse with us. We owe them that. And I know na pagod na po tayo, pero we still have to. That's part of our responsibility and part of our part of our responsibility as parents to give us a time. Hindi naman kailangan isang oras. They will understand kagaya na nangyari sa mga pamangkin ko, they do understand I'm tired. Like, uncle is really tired, but I can listen to you for 5 minutes again. But after that, I would like you to go down and you can do whatever you like. Allow uncle to rest for 3 hours perhaps, and afterwards you can. But if uncle's already sleeping, you would like to watch television, you just don't make any noise, and then you watch television. Okay, you know how to manipulate the basta kausapin na po, nakakaintindi po ang bata. Huwag lang po natin gagamitan ng galit na, ano ba, pagod na nga ako na nga lang tatrabaho, ano bang gagawin? Di ko na alam gagawin ko, ako na lang. Your kids will stop talking to you. Lalayo ang damdamin nila. Ang tingin na lang nila sa'yo ay tao na kailangan nilang hingian ng allowance, hingian ng ganito, but not the person that they can confine with and converse with. Ito yung mga pamangkin ko, every day, they, kahit malayo ako sa kanila, they text me, Uncle, I miss you. Uncle, I love you. And nawawala lahat ang pagod. But if you have established that in your kids, ako nun, ang ginawa ko lang po talaga is to pretend na may lakas pa po ako. At kahit gaanong inis ko dahil ang babo ng pinag-uusapan, alam po natin, nagkikwento na nag-away sila pero pinag-aawayin lang ay yung ipinahid lang yung kulangot sa kanyang ate. Naku, Diyos ko Lord, ang laki ng problema. Laki ng problema ko na fini-face sa school, tapos yan lang, parang ang laki ng problema niya. But we have to be patient. Sabi ko, tendency for parents na tired na talaga. Pag wala na talagang time, papasok na tayo sa parenting eh. Dapat meron po kayong, kung meron kang asawa o meron kang ate na o mga, pwede pong mag-share na today, tonight, siya gagawa nun. Pero kung wala kayong usapan na gano'n, magpapanggap po tayo. Magpanggap na hindi tayo naiinis. Magpanggap po tayo na okay pa rin tayo na makinig. But again, siguraduhin mo na you explain well na hanggang dito na muna, magpapahinga lang si mama and they will understand. I believe they will. Basta communication is the key. And at work, yan po ginagawa sa mga pamangkin ko and they do understand. Mas kahit pa lahat ng pamangkin ko lumabas na kami lang, ako lang ang adult. Hindi kasama yung mga kapatid ko. Kami lang talaga manood ng TV. Walang nawawalang bata. Why? Because I give them responsibility. Ikaw, ate, ikaw may responsibility sa ganito. Bibili ka na nito. Ikaw may hawak na ganito. They become more responsible. But then again, that's how I was raised. And then that's how I raised, how I handle my nieces. Again, pabalikan ko po, ang last answer ko dun is, ang ginawa ko po ay nagpapanggap po ako na okay pa rin at malakas pa rin ang aking, at kaya ko pa rin makinig. Nag-smile pa rin ako kahit I'm so sad na nagkaaway kami sa office. Meron ako nakaaway, tapos meron mga projects na hindi nagagawa ng tama. Pag-uwi na parang gusto kong manigaw, pero I have to, set that aside and then smile. Your kids are kids. And how we react to them would impact the way they see us. Sometimes, they no longer feel that we love them, okay? Because they only see the pain of the emotion that we show them. Minsan kasi, ang napapakita natin yung galit, pero hindi natin napapakita ang love. Why is it so difficult for parents and some adults to say, I love you? So turuan po natin ang mga bata na magsabi ng I love you by saying I love you. Kaya nga, it's difficult for adults not to say I love you, especially to their parents. Kasi nga, hindi sinanay na magsabi ng kanilang totoong emosyon. So, masarap po pakinggan na pag ang mga bata nagsasabi sa iyo na, I miss you, I love you. Tanggal lahat ng pagod, promise, I tell you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, brother. That's all the questions we have for now. Any last reminders to our viewers for today?
Definitely, I have some reminders for you guys out there. So these are our conclusion and some clarifying of the concepts. All right. So positive social and emotional development is important. This development influences a child's self-confidence, empathy, the ability to develop meaningful and lasting friendships and partnerships, and a sense of importance and value to those around her or him. Children's social and emotional development also influence all other areas of development. So if individuals have problem connecting with other people, establishing worthwhile relationships, hindi po siya talaga may kasalanan nun. Something went wrong along the way. Parents may have a contributing element on the impact of the now of that person, and even teachers of why these individuals cannot sustain worthwhile relationships. They are not born not able to handle relationship. It's just that they were not taught how to handle relationships because parents probably did not find time to help them with that, or the education or the teachers did not come up with task performances to allow them to analyze where they went wrong and if they can have a possibility of improving themselves the next time around. So these are situations that we have to help our kids. So parents and caregivers play bigger, okay? Not just the teachers though, but the parents or the people at home play the biggest role in social emotional development because they offer the most consistent relationship for the child. They have more time to the child than the teacher. So I do not see a lot of people blaming teachers on this. Social emotional development is a primary responsibility of people at home. All right? Di pa ako galit, sinasabi ko lang. Consistent experiences with family members, teachers and other adults help children learn about relationships and explore emotions in predictable interactions. So I believe that if individuals seek more people outside, more friends outside than their family, it tells them that they are not comfortable with their family, they are more comfortable with other people. Pero kung pinalaki sila na para sila magbabarkada, para sila magkakaibigan, and then they can confide with, and they are happy, they laugh, they make jokes together, then I think kids would have more time with family. All right. And finally, SEL or social emotional learning starts with you. Teachers out there, not just teachers, but as individuals, become better informed about social emotional learning. Individuals become successful in life, not because they are too intelligent or too disciplined. It's because they have developed this social emotional skills. Please review again the big five. Those are the things that we need to develop among our students, and the order of which its benefits and ways to integrate it into your life and in classroom. Knowing more about your students can help as well. Learn about the science behind connecting with and building strong relationship with your students. It does not come out not easily. So as teachers, we were taught to become teachers and teach the subject area, but sometimes or more often than not, hindi tayo tinuruan kung paano natin turuan ng mga estudyante na magkaroon ng social emotion. Sometimes misbehavior hindi naturo sa atin. Parang natututo na lang tayo along the way. So try to read a lot of researches about how to handle emotions and personality development of kids via certain activities that we can come up with for our lesson plans. So ESL, remember to also partner with students' families. Importante po na we talk with the families, kinakausap. Ako nun sa schools na akong consultant, kinakausap ko talaga mga magulang. Kasi whether you like it or not, especially, well, not just in the private schools, but also public schools, ang sinisisi nila sa mga nangyari sa mga anak nila agad ay ang mga teachers. So we need to make the parents be partners. So SEL or social emotional learning happens in all areas of the student life, not only at school, but mostly also at home. With that, thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope to see you again, a continuation of my talk on Friday, which will conclude my August session on helping you guys and parents and teachers all together and how we can help our kids learn at home. And my session on Friday is at 2 o'clock via YouTube. And my topic is all about teaching, enhancing positive discipline among our students at home via the executive functions. Thank you very much, and I had fun with you tonight.
There we have it. In behalf of Vibal Group Incorporated, I would like to thank our speaker for today for this very eye-opening, relatable, and insightful learning session. It is an honor to have you with us today, brother. And to all our Vibal viewers, all thanks to you for your continuous patronage to our daily learning session. Muli, maraming salamat at magandang araw sa ating lahat.